Alright, let's get this started.
I kind of wanted to recollect a little bit and just look back based on where we're at now, anticipating that there could even be a new announcement this year. We might just even get an idea of where FF7 goes for its final part in the year 2025. We might get that announcement this year. Not a big reveal, but at least an announcement. I have such ancient content, chat. Many of these videos, like, I don't even remember exactly what happened in it and where it goes through it. But the story of what went down leading to the eventual Final Fantasy VII release is insane to me. It was even more than how substantial it was for Rebirth, because Rebirth was a continuation and a hope that the next game was going to be cool. Luckily.
Yeah. I mean, we were all sitting there in suspense the whole time, wondering if we were really going to get a game that would make fans happy, I guess. And, I mean, Remake did well, but a lot of people, didn't like Remake. I wasn't one of them. I thought Remake was amazing. And I don't mean, like, gameplay-wise. I just mean, story-wise. The plot ghosts are super goddamn controversial. So, like, I don't know. But I'm glad we got to where we got. You know what I mean?
It was, but like, dude, the FF7 remake is an actual reality. Like, this is a thing that everyone's hoped for like 20 years, and now it's legit real. The hype around that launch was nuts. I actually think the only thing that will match it is Part 3, because of everything that they have set up for Part 3.
I fully believe that Remake Part 3 will win Game of the Year when it comes out. It has been just absolutely just destroyed, demolished at Game of the Year, at the Game Awards, not Game of the Year. And I'm really positive that Part 3 will do it. It will get to Game of the Year, especially with how like amazing the other two games are. And Rebirth deserved it. I fully believe that. Hot take, better than Metaphor. It is peak. It is peak.
As excited as Part 3 as I was with Part 1. And I can completely acknowledge that Rebirth maybe didn't have as much excitement, being the middle game in the series. This is the conclusion,
Nah, bro, I mean, that could be argued, but even then, no, because we were so excited to see what Rebirth would do with the plot, the material, and how far it would go, what they were doing with Zack, everything. Everything was a mystery at that point. We didn't know where the devs were going to take it. And they took it in a really interesting direction, that's for sure.
And my absolute favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy VII.
Jesus, who is that? Who the hell's that talking?
Ooh, who is that talking?
God, who the hell's that talking?
FF7 was the first RPG I had ever played, and it was the first time I had ever been...
2014.
I streamed this shit, dude. We were live for this, chat.
Press me.
Max, dude, PlayStation Saga.
No way.
We streamed this shit.
Damn.
Wait, no. One of the most iconic video game. Oh my... It's a debut on the original PlayStation.
No.
Now, back to the PlayStation.
Dude.
Are you me?
It was a re-release, right?
So intent. Streaming to like 800 viewers.
Yeah.
All right, don't people like this. We need details. Am I so hyped for nothing? Is it all for nothing? I don't want PS1 graphics.
I don't want PS1 graphics.
Meanwhile, honestly, that's what I want. I want PS1 graphics now. Quick information, I had just recently beaten Xenogears a few days ago, as of this live stream, and Yeah, PS1 games, they're kind of a different breed.
The slow realization of what it is. I don't really. Actually, this is not it, bro.
1080p. What the shit is that? That is so fucked up. You guys screwed it up. How did you
Yeah, woo, yeah. He hit him with a fucking boo.
I would have been in the audience. Boo! Boo! Boo this man! The CEO of Square. Boo this man! The guy's literally making FF7 remake, going.
Oh my god. Oh. Dude, we don't. Nobody cares. Look at them. They're so pissed. Upscaled fucking graphics. Oh,
Hell yeah.
That's exactly what we wanted, dude. Thank you so much for the 1080p PS1 game.
He's so pissed.
Awesome. Good for you. Why would you give this dude stage time?
Ooh. Damn, old Max was a savage.
You give that guy stage time. No, fuck this. That's fucking ridiculous. God.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back.
I just realized I'm live streaming. How's it going, dudes? Nothing was announced. See you next time.
That was a moment where it felt like the devs were not listening to us. I wasn't the only one, dude. Like, I remember reading all the forum posts right after this show, and people are like, what the hell was that announcement? Do they not know? Like, everybody was saying the same shit. Like, dude, what, huh? The music. 1 year later.
Oh yeah, 2015. 2015 was the year.
Now, many years ago, Square Enix released.
By the way, I'll forever be an Adam Boyes fan, right? Adam Boyes went on to Iron Galaxy, helped them make Rumbleverse and stuff like that. Recently had an interview, great interview about Rumbleverse. I'll always be an eternal Adam Boyes fan because he was the one that brought this forward to us. Like, this is the best E3 ever because it was the E3 of dreams. He was the one that literally made this shit a reality, that put this, that opened up the present and was like, here you guys go.
It's a groundbreaking title that went on to become one of the most beloved games in PlayStation video game history. Tonight, I am proud to announce
This makes me cry. It still makes me cry.
Yeah, this announcement was insane.
You were in the crowd, Justin? Oh my god.
With each fond remembrance, we knew the reunion at hand may bring joy,
The
may
reunion.
bring fear,
Totally gonna be a
but
movie.
let us
And here's Jiraiya talking.
I don't want to believe it.
Look at it already.
are coming back.
Yeah, dude.
A cool little reminder. Advent Children as a movie was like one of the very early things that like brought me and JJ together. JJ watched Advent Children more than I did. Well, she watched that movie
Really?
so much. So it's also one of the things that got me and JJ to connect even more. Is that we had this thing that I introduced to her.
Man, that's fucking
and she
cute.
Also got really into it and she loved it. We
That's
listened-
really
driving to
cute.
Disneyland on a big ass drive, listening to the Advent Children soundtrack, all that kind of shit.
Aww.
In the mid-2000s.
That makes my cold heart melt. Hell yeah!
I love dude, this shit sends me. This shit sends me, bro. Uber.
Oh.
Losing it.
That was me
Oh
with
my God,
Xenoblade
it's
3.
So funny.
Crazy how this used to look.
Jesus. Damn, the CyberConnect footage.
Yeah, that's kind of nutty.
Upscale this. Should AI upscale this footage? Oh, here comes the dark times.
The Dark Ages.
Was it still CyberConnect? Yeah.
Yep.
So they showed like a little bit later, and in the year, they showed some more footage.
A
Which
little
was
bit.
shocking that at the PlayStation Experience 6 months later, they legit showed more.
Yeah,
So
I remember
was
that.
nuts,
And then it
dude.
was like the Kingdom
that
Hearts
was
3
like,
Dry
oh my
Age.
God, there's actually gameplay? No way! This is crazy! There's actually gameplay. What it was the beginning of the dark times. Because
Yeah.
we would later learn the game was going through absolute development hell like every other Square Enix game. Almost all of the work that CyberConnect 2 put into the game would be scrapped.
Yeah, well, dude, we're sitting here like, I don't know what it is about Square, but they just cannot get their shit together. Like, in terms of, like, no matter how hard they try, it seems like their games always go through some sort of development problem. I can't think of a single Square game that did not suffer at least a little bit of a delay or, like, something. I mean, really, as a Kingdom Hearts fan, you know, I'm sitting there like, we're kind of fucked. Like, the majority of the time, especially now. I didn't think we'd ever face such a dry age like we did back when, 2015 to 2017. But here we are. This is an even bigger dry spell. So, regarding this, I remember this as well. And even back then, I wasn't even that huge into Final Fantasy VII.
And Square would have to focus the game mad hard around 2017, and they would be doing internal development themselves. So it's crazy. It is the development of this game. It should not exist. They hammered it out in like 2.5 years.
Huge Famitsu article that recently got translated talking about several details in the upcoming release of Final Fantasy, including the main scenario being completed. Big-scale AAA Final Fantasy games over the past couple of titles have taken way too damn long to come out. And as long as they can flesh out one core story that happens around one major area, like Midgar is a good example, that's a lot less creative than...
You guys ready for something dangerously prophetic?
Yeah.
Ready.
you have to put into one game than a whole bunch of games that have Midgar open world and
Oh.
everything where you have to start cutting content to actually make it
Oh.
come out before 2000 freaking 20.
Get ready.
2000 freaking 20.
That is absolutely insane. That that's crazy. That's actually crazy talk. Wait, so Max said from the get-go that the game wouldn't come out till 2020, and he was right. Oh my god. Oh Lord. Howdy. Hope you're doing well. As well. We're just chilling watching a Maximilian dude video about Final Fantasy VII.
There were several opportunities Square could have talked about this game, including E3, PlayStation Experience 2016.
Yeah,
as
like
well
I was
as-
just saying, this is so similar to, like, all Square games have this problem. Like, just development problems. And right now, Kingdom Hearts is really going through it again. And I'm surprised that Rebirth came out in such a steady way. Like, you look at, I don't know, Final Fantasy 16, that took a while to make. It wasn't crazy, but then you go back to this, 2015 to 2020. Wild.
the Final Fantasy 30th anniversary event, and I'm just hoping that they're working on the game in some fashion, because we only got one thing recently, and that was at the 30th anniversary event, and it was just key art. This image is really cool, and it does have a weird kind of black wing thing going on with Sephiroth, but dude, it's key art. This could have been done by a couple of people over the span of a week. What the hell is going on? We didn't know. We didn't know. Right around
No,
this timeframe.
no, we did not
shit.
know.
The
We
game
did
was
not.
scrapped with CyberConnect 2.
Yeah.
And they had to begin development all over.
Well, CyberConnect 2 also handles a lot of different properties from what I can remember, right? So it makes you think. They moved it. They just Square has a problem with doing that. They start something and then they axe everything, or at least have to take a bunch of what they made and just toss it, and then take a little bit of what they made and then repurpose it in a different engine or something. A different team needs to work on it, etc. It's insane.
Again internally at Square. So this was a crazy dark period of the game was like pretty much Kaputski at this point. 2 years later. Pretty cool. I have zero expectations. It begins.
This right here blew my
Even
mind.
the sound, okay? Like even
Yeah.
even
Me with
in
me
these
with anything
moments, even if you
Xenoblade
just give
or
me that
Kingdom Hearts.
sound, I know what that sound is. Anybody knows what that sound is. Okay. That
Dude.
was Final Fantasy VII sound effects.
We wanted to give you a new look at a long-awaited game.
Oh.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, and then we see
Oh
Aerith
my fucking god.
or Eris.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
More to come in June.
There's a fucking future. You did a good job, Sony. No chairs were spun. You reminded us that Final
Dude, I
Fantasy VII
remember that
really
state of play.
exists. It's been 4 years.
Damn, a Square Soft hoodie? He must have had that for forever. I honestly, having anything with the label Squaresoft, you gotta hold on to that.
I get to wear this.
And that on that same day, there was a big ass like FF7 concert that we had tickets for already before this, and it was like, oh, there's an FF7 concert right around E3. Let's go to it. And no shit, at that concert they showed like another sneak peek teaser of FF7 at that fucking concert. It was nuts.
Oh yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy.
Kenny, shut up. They're gonna make reservations at E3. It's gonna be playable. Here's an interesting aspect here. My piece of shit friend Kenny, being the big piece of shit that he is, made that up. I read it in the chat, and because he's my friend, I normally get told things from the people around me, and I believe them to be true. I am naturally the kind of person that doesn't err on the side of like negativity with what people are telling me. And when I was in the moment and a little vulnerable, I inherently just believed everything he said. He completely made that up, but it ended up happening anyway. That's exactly what happened at E3. There was signups, there was reservations. The signups, the line for the signups went around the entire fucking hall at E3.
God.
It was nuts. It was insane. So just getting the ability to get in there and get a ticket, Kenny dodged the biggest bullet.
For real.
I'd have cut his balls off, dude. I would've done right then and
Yo. dude. Honestly, that's how I would react if like KH1 got remade or something, or honestly, if like Days got remade.
there, like snip, snip, bitch, like it'd have been over. Kenny's nuts would have been on the floor. I love balls.
Yeah, yeah.
Kenny the prophetic liar. The This music was not edited. Yeah, that's actually legit.
As these guys were
What happened?
were
So yeah, we go to E3, go to Square because I've worked with them in the past on like the Dissidia game, Dissidia NT. I helped them out with that, and people at Square knew me. So all I did was like, day one, E3, wear the jacket. I'm gonna take my Final Fantasy VII jacket. I'm gonna wear it there, and I'm gonna go directly to Square and be like, guys, what do I have to do to see the game? And they all knew who I was. They're like, oh, it's Max, cool. They all knew who I
Wow,
was.
that's
So I
insane.
was like, so I'll do anything. Like, what do I have to do to like get the press sneak peek at the game? And they're like, hold on a second. So I take a bunch of pictures with some Final Fantasy fans and all this stuff, and they a moment later they're like, come here, and they literally walk me into a presentation that's about to start.
Wow.
And I go into a room, and there's a bunch of like producers in there that are looking at me, but then Kitase, the director of Final Fantasy VII, with a bunch of other folks that are like, no kidding, a bunch of press people that I've seen that are like, well, these are big press people in here, holy shit, are all in this tiny little compact room with like less than 10 people, right? And Kitase is there, and he gives the presentation of the game. So that's what happened on day one.
demonstrating the game that they had been making for the past like 5-something years.
Wow.
I noticed they were like looking at me every single time it was happening. And then I take a picture with both of them and I put it on Twitter, and I'm like, fucking crazy. I'm standing with and hanging out with the literal guy who directed.
That's so cool.
Parts of the new development.
That's so
path.
cool.
And he was like,
The only thing, like the things I don't want to say the only thing, but I've had quite a few experiences with musicians. That's where I've been. Nothing with like game devs or like anyone who has made movies, etc. Nothing like that. But one day I would like to meet game devs. It's just like I can't even imagine like meeting like Kitase or like Nomura or something. That's just so cool to me.
before you go, can I get a picture with you? I would like to show the development staff. And I'm like, what? So he takes a picture of all
That's
the people
cool.
together. Things were tough for the team, and they were trying to figure things out and what was like the right choice. He was saying they always showed the team video from first reaction.
Aw, what?
The one where we first saw FF7 that I made like a story out of it. He was saying how whenever the team was feeling down and he wanted to motivate everybody, they would watch that video.
Aw, damn.
And it said it gave them energy to try to go forward and make
Oh
the right
shit,
choices.
that.
Brother.
Ooh.
And knowing
Bro.
what we know now,
Ooh.
that like holy shit,
They really went
like,
through
the
it.
decisions that they would have had to have made.
Yeah.
in that
That's
early time span. Where it's
tough.
just like what we're making right now is not gonna make people happy. They came to that
Damn.
conclusion that what we're doing is not good enough. We have to change this, and we have to like meet the expectations of fans. We have to meet the expectations of what people have of this. That's crazy, knowing what they know now, for them to say that kind of shit at the time frame. It still hits me really hard still to this day.
Yeah, that's. I can't even imagine. Oh, the goat.
I can't believe what I was seeing in the first beginning of the demo, much less what I played with the boss fight. I don't believe it. Like,
I don't believe it.
I almost don't believe that you can make a full 40-hour game be on a even fraction of the quality of what that beginning bombing run is. The best thing they can do is let other people experience this. Really don't want to be describing this game like a crazy goddamn person that I sound like I am. Here we are. We did it. We managed to stay awake for potentially the longest stream I've ever had. I just really hope that they eventually show off more of the bombing run, man. Holy crap, Efren, there's a summon! This fucking guy! Jesus, man. Look at fucking Sephiroth.
Yeah, dude. We started getting drip fed more and more and more and more.
Oh, dude,
It was
this is
insane,
so sick.
and it was worth the wait.
Dude, look at Aerith doing all their crazy dance shit. She's over here doing Cirque du Soleil, and everyone's fighting. There's so many more abilities that Cloud has. Like this. Fucking music, dude. Aerith with all her spins and flips and shit. I can't even believe it. Every single time you see something new on this game, it just looks better and better. We haven't even checked the countdown timer. As long as time is still moving in a proper Linear
The
fashion.
delay.
At least we got Final Fantasy VII Remake
The delay.
just around the corner, and we're gonna start the countdown of FF7
The
today.
delay.
Dirge to Cerberus.
There's always one last delay.
I'm not looking forward to it. I think last it said we're around 50 days. 50 days. So here we go.
It jumps 36 days.
Time isn't moving in a linear fashion anymore. Time is not.
Time is not living
was
in
a
a linear
joke.
fashion.
Was only making a joke.
That's
Yeah,
tough.
It was.
Have the Pokemon Black and
Freaking
White
COVID
Bianca
shit,
song play.
dude.
We were so close, chat.
Yeah, bro, that shit sucks. Believe me.
We were so close. We're back to the middle, man. We're at 56 days. 56 days. We're almost back to that point we were before when we said that the only way this is going to go away, this is going to change if time stops. Time stopped working before, which is why we were at here. But we're under 2 months. There's been people saying that, oh, they're going to put out that demo. The original
Nope.
release date was, which I
Nope.
think is a great idea. If there's a time frame for Square Enix to put out that the supposed demo, that the demo that was
I remember this shit. I forgot about this. I was just like, so that demo, man, if you really want to sell people on this game, they gotta play the bombing run demo. They did it in the old days, man. Do it again. This day would be great.
apparently leaked and all this stuff that came out like around December.
About
There's a
that.
time frame for that, dude. The beginning of March, when the game was originally going to come out, is the best time frame.
Literally March 1st.
Look at this game.
Literally
That's so
March
funny.
1st.
Look at it.
They were listening.
It's a video game, and it looks better than Advent Children. Cool thing that happened. I was driving down my town,
Literally
and on
March
this
1st.
Big city bus, giant orange city bus.
Yeah?
Half of the bus is occupied with Cloud and the Buster Sword looking up at Shinra Tower for Final Fantasy VII Remake. It
That's
definitely
so
gave me a
sick.
huge flashback to like the mid 90s and shit, like 1997 when the first one came out, where FF7 promotion was just everywhere. It was just absolutely everywhere.
I can't
It's
even, man.
practically here. I'd like to have a big thank you to everyone
Jesus,
that's
the
been
2-hour
joining me on
countdown.
this 5-year trip around the Earth. Damn, I was glad.
Sometimes I think about what it would have been like to have been born like a decade earlier. To like have experienced like Final Fantasy VII, like at its prime at the time, or like anything really like that. It's just food for thought that I can't help but think of sometimes.
Holy skinny, bro. Bro. Holy
promotion
shit.
was just everywhere. It was just absolutely everywhere. It's practically here. I'd like to have a
Deathly
big thank
skinny.
you to everyone that's been joining me on this 5-year trip around the Earth. I'm just glad that I'm going to be surrounded by a lot of people that are just as excited for Final Fantasy VII as I am. I
He
don't know
was
if there's
really
any
skinny.
other thing that you could want for what might be your most anticipated game, just to be around everyone that loves it just as much as you do. How many pounds did I put on since then? Legit 30. At least 20 pounds of just legit straight muscle. From going to having a body that can't even do a push-up to like we're adding like at least 20 pounds of muscle over that time frame. Like I was deathly skinny, dude. If you want to join in on that, it's going to be on Thursday. How much did I weigh then? I weighed like 180. Yeah, I weighed like about 180 p.m. Pacific. Final Fantasy VII Remake. The impossible game is actually here.
Man.
That's when I had stomach problems, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Jeez. And there's one more I want to check out. Hold on a second, because it's the continuation of this. The beginning of like when the game came out. Thank you for being with me on this trip. Everything that we watched, everything that we stayed up to those countless hours waiting for the Japanese reveals. Playing through the original FF7 back in 2015, playing it again in 2019 with New Threat, rediscovering all the reasons I actually love Final Fantasy VII still.
New Threat is like legitimately insane, by the way. I have it, but I've never actually really played it. I've never actually played through the original Final Fantasy VII. I've tried, and I wanted to one day try it, maybe on stream, actually. I was thinking about giving it a go to play the original FF7, um, for sure at some point. And Seventh Heaven is an impeccable way to do it. It basically overhauls the whole original game. And since I do own Final Fantasy VII on Steam, it's easy. It's really easy to use. I just never got to it, so I'm thinking about doing that sometime.
That was 4 years ago, the beginning of our Final Fantasy. I don't want to hear myself talk. I don't know if anybody
Me
was
too.
prepared for what lies ahead.
That was the day. Damn.
I found myself resonating with the characters and story of Final Fantasy VII even more than ever before. Things are a lot different. We're all completely different people from 4 years ago. I'm a father now.
Daddy, you're home.
That's right, Angel. I am. Have you been a good girl?
Has it really been that long? Wow. That Oh man, that's insane. That's that's crazy. That even gets me emotional. I remember watching these videos and then going back and waiting for this game to release with Max.
Even going back and watching this now, I see it with a completely different eye than I even saw it back in 2020. All constructed around the set pieces, storytelling, and visuals of a game that we had never seen the likes of before. And while Final Fantasy VII Remake absolutely is not a 100% perfect game by any means, the amount of things that it was able to accomplish seemed impossible to me before the game's release. The remake very much understood something that had been missing from the Final Fantasy VII series of games that had been gone since the 90s, and that was characters.
What is this ragtag group of misfits?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Like, I love Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy X, but I know, like, after that, it gets very, it's like a mixed bag for just the general populace or, like, fans of Final Fantasy. Even I know that. Like, a lot of people don't like 13. A lot of people don't like 15. I do, but a lot of people don't. 14 and 11, I think. I know 14 is, but I think it's 11 or 12. I know one of them is also an MMO along with 14. And 14 is gigantic. Some people love that game, but if you're like me, I never want to play that game. Why? Because it's an MMO. I don't like MMOs. They're a giant time sink, and they purposefully make you waste your time. And I know that's kind of funny because I play gacha games, but besides the point, I'm not dipping my toes in an MMO. And it leads you to question, like, are the characters, like, worse? And I get that's, like, from his perspective or other people's perspective. Are these characters worse than they were back in the day? Right? And I think, like, if we're being honest, I think 6 to 10 was, like, the golden age for Final Fantasy. At the time, at least. And now we're in the era of, wow, 16 has come out, and even that is kind of, not controversial, but that game is not a game a lot of people love. People really like it. I have problems with it. I think Final Fantasy 16 is an amazing action game. You hear what people say, like, oh, Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy, just like, this game is a great game, but it's not a great blank game, or insert series. And I'm just like, I can understand that perspective when it comes to 16 because Sean Connery came out a little bit right there. But it's because the game is more action than RPG. The game doesn't even have hardly any RPG elements. The elements in it that are RPG are pretty goddamn flimsy. But I get where he's coming from. That's the point.
See before me, avalanche.
Local florist.
Lab rat dog.
Characters are fucking amazing.
Yeah, they're really good.
Characters are fucking so good. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I just talking about like playthrough 1. I love all the nuance to the storytelling where
Yeah.
you know, they try to tackle some cool shit where Shinra isn't just bad guys. They infiltrate Shinra and everybody's freaking out because of the plate drop and shit.
Yep.
And you realize that, like, do all these people deserve to be taken down too? Like, all these people
Nope.
have lives and stuff.
No,
Like,
they do
is
not.
this-
It's
do
not.
They deserve this? Like, there was,
It's
there was
not.
An
They're just
interesting
employees.
kind of like
you
gray
know?
area that the game was tackling in between that made it really cool. That
Yeah.
was a lot different than the original game.
And the original, I'm pretty sure, as he's inferring, is like it's just kind of like, yeah, let's take them all down, fuck them.
Now we had a full party that we truly cared about. But there was one thing that was dramatically different. The story was not the same. This was only the beginning of a multiple game story that was also now an unknown journey. And while it seemed like we had a pretty good grasp on what was going on, there was way more questions than answers.
Yeah, no kidding.
I miss it.
Ooh,
The steel sky.
the steel sky. And Hollow starts playing.
All right. I get what they're doing. I get what they're doing. We're gonna
Do
have
you?
this alternate timeline where Zack
we
is
gonna see
alive.
a future portion of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 or 3 or whatever actually have flashbacks to the PlayStation 1 game? What if it's technically a sequel?
Max, we need you on our podcast. That happened, bro. that legit. I had a bet with Kyle Bossman. That
Wait,
shit happened.
what?
Friggin' Fort Condor. It happened before we even.
Oh my god, Fort Condor. Oh my god, Fort Condor. Oh god, I hated that shit so much. I hated that. I hated Fort Condor. It is. I wanted to bash my head against a rock playing that minigame. I did not like it. Basically, if you don't know, Fort Condor is like tower defense, basically. Yeah. And you need to send your troops to take out the other team's, like, boss or tower or whatever the hell you want to call it. And, oh, I did not have fun with that one. Not at all. But, you know, there are mini games I did quite like in it that other people didn't. So that one's kind of up to the person.
Actually, no, I think it was cemented. As soon as we saw, like, the old polygonal characters in Fort Condor, it was over. Like, oh, there it is.
Sephiroth is now the ultimate bad guy because he's the one that is now technically in control of what you feel about the original FF7.
Yep.
I'm saying that I'm going to make an Easy Allies bet that at some point in Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cloud or Zack
Oh,
or
I remember
Sephiroth
this.
or some of our characters will see PlayStation footage of Final Fantasy VII.
Easy allies, man. Bet.
And here's the thing, we found out that already happened in Part 1. Legit found out that already was in Part 1. Chips and eggs. There is a picture in Tifa's bar of the original Tifa's bar from Final Fantasy VII.
What?
It's actually already in there.
I didn't know that. I never heard of that.
Okay, all right.
That's crazy.
All right. If I lose a bet, I'll download Killer Instinct and
Oh.
Spend
Oh.
a week trying to get good with one character.
Oh.
It happened. He did. He held the.
That's
bar.
crazy.
This was like over a year ago. He did.
That's
I was there.
crazy.
I was trying to help him out too, learning some shit. He legit did it. Bossman held his fucking side of the deal.
I'll bet like 100 gift subs in your channel.
I think I also gave him 100 gift
I'm
subs.
predicting
I think that
it's
also
going
happened.
to happen. You're predicting that it's not going to happen.
That will not happen.
Okay, all right. Huge brain theory is that Part 2 is Sephiroth and Cloud and a couple of Shinra grunts in the back of a truck bouncing up and down.
That's how it
And
starts.
that's the beginning of the game.
We didn't. What do they call the next one?
Oh,
What's the next game called?
Rebirth.
that's fucking that you can't make that shit up. Wait.
We didn't. What do they call the next one? What's the next game called?
Rebirth.
Insane. Insane 4D level insight.
Celebrated games.
Fuck you.
And then, funny enough, Ko in that same podcast goes, "Hold on a second, Max. He just bought the domain for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.com. Bought the domain for
What?
it so that he will have that shit in case it becomes worth some shit."
No
Man.
way.
Oh, this is so funny.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Come on. Come on. Come on. Capture on
Well, I
PS5.
mean, you wonder what the third one's going to be called.
I didn't even realize he said, "Come on." What the shit, dude?
Capture on PS5. Come on. Come on.
That's awesome.
What the hell? What the hell is going on, dude?
Yeah, what would be the third part? Like, I still don't know the name. I mean, you could say like, because we have remake, rebirth, and perhaps, yeah, I have no damn clue.
I can't explain why I'm so connected to this shit, chat. I cannot. All right? Just assume I'm a paid actor, okay? Just make the bold assumption that I'm a paid actor.
Your girl finally made it to Midgard.
What? Fucking excuse me? Yo, Cloud, thanks for the 20 dudes on YouTube.
Oh, I mean, I remember one of them is Reunion, Final Fantasy VII Reunion, which is really strong. Another one would be like Final Fantasy VII Revival. Not sure. Yeah. Yeah, that is the yeah, that's the part where I kind of broke.
I don't fucking believe it, dude. This looks awesome as shit. That conversation from a year before.
And to
was
this day, I
that
still
they
never
were
actually
really
played the
getting
DLC.
Into the spy shit of like Shinra versus Wutai. They were really digging into that, and it was like, this is not here before, dude. Like they're really fleshing out this like world war that happened between Wutai and Midgar, way more pre-DLC in the base game. And it was like,
Yeah, it was really interesting.
dude.
Yeah.
I wonder if they could do something where like Yuffie is a spy or some shit, and they can have some aspect of the game where like maybe we can play as like Yuffie or Vincent in a DLC, and they're like you know, doing some things that they would have done in the past to like link the games together or something like that to sort of flesh out this world war. And no kidding, like a year later, the Yuffie DLC was announced.
Really cool stuff. Intergrade.
Let the hunt begin.
Hell yeah.
The
And then
absolute
there's Dirge.
terrifying realization, the absolute horrible realization that it's gonna be full of gacked shit. Oh, no. Oh god, it's gonna be full of dirge horse shit.
Yes.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
It was
actually handled very
it
well.
was handled incredibly well.
The way they integrated it into the game wasn't nearly as
Yeah, they really
poisonous
integrated it
as
really
it
well.
possibly could have been. Okay, at that moment I was very scared. I was very scared. It's running at 60 FPS. It looks very good. It is a very good looking video game. Whoa, it's a video game.
Also, you know what? Since I am probably going to be uploading this as a reaction on the channel, I'm going to put this out there right now. Those, like the characters from Dirge, since Vincent is going to be part of the crew and playable in the third part of the series, I think that they'll come back and Yuffie and Vincent are going to like have like a short story with them in the game. I don't think they're there in the DLC for zero reason, and they on purpose like made it so Yuffie had a history with them already. And Yuffie and Vincent are like a duo I am most excited to see more of. And I say see more of. We didn't see any of it in Rebirth, really. I'm just super pumped to see them interact a lot, because They are a power duo.
And it runs in 60 FPS.
Hell yeah.
Rebirth
God,
combat,
Yuffie.
bro. Okay, we're just gonna have so much fun.
Yep.
Is that Fort Condor I see over there? You play?
I'm always ready for a round of Fort Condor.
Oh my god.
Of course. Oh shit! The turtle music. What the fuck? Wow. Game's something
So
special.
awesome.
Game loves its music, and I love it for that. What is all this budget?
Best
She's
girl.
Naruto
For sure,
running.
for sure.
What the fuck?
The amazing Yuffie wants you. Join her team
Nah.
in the sky.
Real quick, I gotta say, Yuffie was always my favorite Final Fantasy character, and she still is. I love Miss Lass.
It's the limit.
Dang. They're literally leaving it off where they're planning on the sequel going with like the open world and everything on a chocobo.
Mhm.
Oh god.
Oh my lord. Me too.
What the goddamn posts, the post game, dude. The
Yeah.
post game.
The post game.
Locking in.
I'm back. This scene's very confusing now.
It is, but it was just another world, right?
Are we trying? You know what? So
Mm.
this scene is.
Yeah, so like it's kind of confusing, but yeah, it's probably just another split.
Just another world, another Zack that like split up in a different area. But there's a reason Aerith's missing is because Sephiroth murdered her ass in this one. It isn't like this doesn't not happen. It doesn't happen in the main game because we only focus on certain like realities that characters are going through. Zack's and Cloud's at the time, their worlds, quote unquote. This is the one where Sephiroth had killed the shit out of her,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
in an alternate one, which is why this technically doesn't line up with anything of the core game, you know?
Which
The stupid dog bag was a red herring.
well, wait. Yeah, cuz that makes you think, are they going to elaborate on this Zack at all? And I'm just like to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. I think this really was just like a red herring.
Dak isn't in another timeline? Well, it has to be. It fucking has to be. It might not be a red herring. This could be I think this is the red herring.
This is the red herring.
What the fuck? Was it she comatose? No, that's a different thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Again, these things that are like alternate worlds and shit are a lot different than multiverse, because multiverse have like pasts and futures, you know. The big twist we're going to call in part 3 that most of us are talking about is that it's not a multiverse. It isn't. It gives the impression that it is, but what will eventually boil down is like one place will be the most important.
Right.
All of these different places where all these different realities are going. No, I think that's the whole point of part 2, is that's not what the conclusion is. It might have been sort of that way at some point, but it's not. It's glimpses at alternate realities instead of fleshed out past, future, present realities, you know?
Yeah, we really are just getting like all sorts of different like outcomes. And I think the third game, from what we've seen and what I believe will happen, is I think in the third game we're going to get to the point where Cloud and the crew have the ability to basically make it their own thing. Like shape or fate and have a better outcome than the original timeline. Which I can't help but hope is the case. You know? We're not getting the same story. And as a person, I'm glad we're not. Everyone, even when they don't know games, there's a possibility people know about Aerith dying, or like anything about the original Final Fantasy VII, because it's that big of a game. So even to this day, I'm just so glad that they went in the direction they went.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I need the Back to the Future board thing. I need like a, all right, Marty, look. So here's the timeline where Zack lives, and here's the timeline where Cloud lives. So at some point, Biff Tannen gets the sports almanac, skewing 1980. Like, I really need like a board, and I need to like draw this shit out.
さて、次の映像が最後
Oh
の
my
動
God,
画
it's
で
not
す
over.
それではどうぞ
Nope.
ご覧ください。
Okay, here we go. Okay. 3 years ago now is when this was.
He wants to finish what he started. He wants to
That-
reclaim his birthright.
Bro, that's crazy. Yeah, man. Like, when this trailer dropped, it came out of nowhere.
And rule over the planet with Genova at his side.
And then...
Oh, they're fucking doing it too. Next winter.
Oh, yeah.
リメイクプロジェクトの発表時から複数作にわたって展開することをお伝えしておりましたが、ファイナルファンタジー7リメイク、ファイナルファンタジー7リバース、そして
The three-part announcement.
全3部作で完結することをお知らせいたします。
I really do think Reunion can be very possible.
Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. No matter how many parts there are, I only hope there's like maybe 3 or 4 parts. There should not be 7 parts to this game, guys. Like, come on. What's Part 3 being named? My early call is Return or Returns? Return.
Ooh, Return. I don't... Okay. Okay. That would make sense. That makes sense. It's just, I hope not, because that is such a cliche title. But then again, right, we're not strangers to that. And Returns could work really well. So, I wouldn't be mad if that was the title. Probably Final Fantasy VII Returns, yeah. That would work as well. So, Reunion, Revival, or Returns.
I think that's where they land. Yeah, it could be several other things. It could be Reborn.
Reborn?
I think they're gonna hang out on Return or Returns. You know, one of the two.
Yeah, I'm not for
That's
Reborn.
my early call. It could be wrong. I just think it sounds quite nice. The middle part of a trilogy has its own challenges, but there are plenty of classic second installments in the world. I don't believe this shit! I don't believe this shit! Are you about to read that? Are you fucking reading what's on the screen right now? Are you reading it? Do you see what is wrong? Okay, anyway, let's just go! Tifa is dead! Red 13 is dead! Aerith is dead! Jesus Christ.
The build up to this game in particular was crazy for me.
Dude, chill!
And your
Jesus, oh my god, I'm losing it.
As far
I
as
don't
know.
believe it, man. I don't believe what I'm looking at right. So yeah, we didn't know if the game was gonna be. We didn't know if the game was gonna be like an actual open world at this point, right?
Mhm.
We didn't know.
We didn't know,
if the
not
game
at
was
all.
going to be big linear corridors all over again. We had
Yeah.
no clue if they were actually going to be able to expand and make like a big world. And like that's just going to be way too expensive, way too much time. People were severely doubting Square Enix's capability to execute that kind of a project, right?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. I didn't think it was gonna happen either. I thought we were just gonna get like level missions, like kind of like Remake. But nah, they went above and beyond.
Severely doubting it. Like once they actually showed it for the first time, it was like, what? It's so much different than the first. Oh my god! Believe this shit. Oh, dude, I'm gonna fucking cry. Oh my god!
I flipped when I saw Red playable. I want y'all to know. I flipped when I saw that move too.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. On 2 discs.
Yeah, on 2 discs.
There you have it. That was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming early 2024.
Oh.
All right, bro. I don't know. Man. Your guess is here. I'm not really paying attention to what's happening. That I'm going to be replaced all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it over? Is it over? Whoa, buddy! Whoa! All right. Whoa! Nope.
Me too. Oh.
I didn't want to watch it, and I'm glad I didn't. This
Yeah.
was the notorious launch trailer.
Yep.
Right. These are the notorious Square Enix launch trailers.
The launch trailers, man. Remember what Kingdom Hearts 3 did with its launch trailer? Yikes.
Where they put way too much information in their launch trailers, where they get definitely to the point of spoilerification. Dude, the last trailer for Remake was this way. The last trailer for Rebirth was this way. I was like, bro, get me out of here. Get me out of here. Oh, shit, I'm getting out of here, man. Hotel Ratch. Mute every trailer.
Yeah, you don't want to watch the last trailer of Square Games. Mm-mm.
What the fuck, man? What the fuck?
So, just ahead of time, I'm just going to say, when Kingdom Hearts 4 starts dropping trailers again, I'm going to watch them. Like, I know the danger of doing that, but I'm still going to do it.
We made it, just so everybody knows. I have already technically experienced this, right? And the way it's handled is incredible. I'm watching every trailer until the launch trailer for Part 3. Fuming with excitement that I get to see this again. Because there were just spots that I could not believe what I was seeing. I could not believe how cool this shit is. Dude, when I first played this
Naoki,
moment,
man.
the music kicked in, I was like, oh my
Naoki
god.
Hamaguchi.
Man.
Absolute
Oh my
goat.
God. Like the slow walk with the party up until like the mountain where the music crescendos and shit, and then like the
And you get the
credits
peak.
roll in. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck me, bro. This shit is crazy.
Man.
9 years since the original announcement. I realize how much this game has occupied my entire life of a content creator. How much time I've spent making videos about Final Fantasy VII Remake, just wondering where the story can go and how they're going to treat its characters and world.
Yeah.
And luckily we have a pretty good idea, once again, that it's probably going to be really good. And I
Yep.
feel so lucky
And it was.
essentially privileged to be in this spot, to have so much of an audience of people that love this stuff as much as I do. Yeah. Anyway, this was a nice look back. I've made so many of these videos and shit that it's hard for me to go back and recollect how crazy it was. But yeah, the 5-year anniversary of FF7 Remake and the 10-year anniversary of the initial announcement, and we could potentially be on the cusp of more stuff in the near future. I can't wait.
Yeah, man. That was a good video. That was a really good video. I I really do think that we're in a great spot as Final Fantasy VII fans. I think we're going to be for sure getting a trailer by late this year for the next game. Or, yeah, honestly, I think we're going to get a teaser late this year. Maybe around November, Game Awards. Actually, yeah, no, quote me on this. Game Awards, we're going to get a teaser for the third game. Because 2027 is the year that the third game will come out. And that means we will have 2026 for KH4, potentially. That's how I've been saying things will go. I originally thought KH4 would come out this year. But, we're in delay hell. So I think the game has been delayed till later 2026, mid 2026. And that means 7 Part 3, I believe, will come out, dude, potentially, again, March 2027, April 2027. That's where we're at. So, of course, that's a long way out, but we'll get there, and it's going to be great when we get to that point. Anyway, for people that watch us on YouTube, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope you have a good day. Peace.